When it comes to behavior change, whether it be trying to change the way in which we show up for ourselves and for other people, whether it be kicking a habit to the curb or implementing something new in our lives, we tend to struggle. It can be painfully difficult despite our great intentions. And I think, first of all, we need to understand what we're up against. I mean, literally, our brain works against us in so many ways. And in order for us to be able to combat that, we need to be, first of all, aware of the fact that it's occurring. And our brain's ultimate function is to keep us alive, you know? It doesn't really give all that much of a shit as to whether or not we're fulfilled or happy. It cares more about the fact that we're alive. And consequently, it kind of divides everything up into being safe or being threatening. And anything that is familiar, even if it no longer serves us or is anyways beneficial to us, is viewed as safe because of its familiarity. And likewise, anything which is unfamiliar is viewed as threatening. So consequently, when we try to introduce a new way of being or a new way of doing things, our brain puts up this resistance. And I mean, we need to acknowledge the fact that this resistance feels like the most convincing voice in the world, telling us all the reasons why we don't need to change, despite the fact that we have set an intention. So it's just being very mindful of that. And we tend to as well fall into one of two categories. We're either too lenient with ourselves when it comes to change, or we tend to be very hard on ourselves. And either of those is unhelpful when it comes to being successful in whatever it is that you're looking to change, or what ways you're looking to evolve. What we're looking to find is I suppose a compassionate middle ground, a compassionate accountability that is pervasive, that helps us stay on track, as opposed to either beating ourselves up or else kind of being too easy on ourselves and just letting ourselves sit back a little bit. And we need to find an emotional reason to stick with what it is that we want to do. Generally, we come to our goals with a very negative mindset, and it's oftentimes driven by an internal critic. So if we can view that internal critic compassionately and understand that it's doing the best that it can to keep us safe, however, that it's not always, I suppose, working in our favor. And if we hear things like, okay, I have to start a fitness journey because I'm too fat, or I need to become a better person because I'm an asshole, those kind of I suppose motivators aren't really all that helpful. Whereas if we can kind of make an emotional connection with what it is that we want to do. So for example, I want to start my fitness journey because I want to feel so much more energized, and I want to feel better. I want to sleep better. I want to be able to engage with other people better. I want to be able to play with my kids. Likewise, if you want to be a better person, I want to be able to show up for myself better. I want to be able to show up better for the people in my life. If you can kind of really create a positive framework as to why this is something that you need to do, then there's more of a likelihood that you're going to stick with it, that you're going to be consistent, and that you're actually going to enjoy the process. Which brings me to another point. We tend to focus on the final destination, and this is where sometimes I find the whole goal setting thing a little bit counterproductive, because it does keep us very focused on where we're going to, as opposed to looking at the mini steps that it takes to get there. And it's all about breaking things down and understanding that you only need to focus on doing things one day at a time, because that's all you can think about. I mean, when you're overly focused on the final destination, all of your worth, all of the point of what it is that you're doing is tied into that. And when you experience a hiccup or a setback or a failure, all of a sudden you find yourself flummoxed, because it's like as if you have severed the connection between you and that final destination, and it's like there's no way back on track. However, when you see things one day at a time, when you do experience failures or setbacks, you understand that it doesn't mean the end of the road. It just means that you need to start again. And I think People underestimate the importance of starting small. I mean, oftentimes I'll say to people, can you just put your running shoes on, get outside the door and walk for 2 minutes? I don't need you in the gym for an hour. Or, can you just meditate for 1 minute? Or can you just take a little bit of time away from your phone each evening to talk to your partner? Or whatever it is that I feel will benefit where it is that they want to go with their lives. But it's never that big. And people will say to me, Jesus, I'm not going to change my life by doing something for 1 minute. But the reality is, you do change your life by doing things for 1 minute. It's 1 minute, followed by another minute, followed by another minute. And that's how it goes. So it's about, I suppose, getting your emotional reason or your emotional connection in place. Also, understanding your triggers. Understanding the triggers that will create the temptation to fall back into old ways, and understand the triggers that will motivate you to do what it is that you want to do. If you want to implement journaling, keep your journal beside your bed, there where you can see it, where you come in the evening, so that it's visible to you. And tell yourself, I only need to write one line, rather than being like, I need to write a full chapter tonight. Likewise, when it comes to running, just tell yourself, I'm going to get up, I'm going to put on my shoes, I'm going to go outside the door. What happens after that, we'll wait and see. But I am at least going to achieve that. And it's those little things. With meditation, that was a big one for me. I mean, I was trying to do too much too soon, and I built it up incrementally. And consequently, it's something that I have been able to sustain for a prolonged period of time. And again, it's about recognizing that when you do something that's crazy small, you're less likely to hate it, because oftentimes the things that we want to change are things that we don't particularly want to do. And so if we force ourselves to endure things for prolonged periods, it can be completely counterproductive. It can actually just turn us off and we revert back to square one. Whereas if we do it, small little bits, but do it consistently and do it frequently, then it's more likely going to become habitual. And it's not that the resistance is going to be eradicated completely. However, you will find that the resistance decreases and you will become kind of more tied into what it is that you do. So it becomes kind of more of your day-to-day routine, and it becomes enjoyable and it becomes safe. Your brain begins to recognize it as, okay, this is something that I do. Go easy on your expectations. Again, we tend to set ourselves these insanely crazy high goals, which aren't always attainable. And it's not that you're never going to get there, but be realistic about what it is that you're trying to achieve. And most importantly, when you're looking at your goals, ask yourself if they're reflective of who it is that you want to be. Do they enable you to be a better person for yourself and a better person for other people? Or are they very extrinsic? Are they very egotistical? Are they about, I want to achieve this so that I'm better than other people, or at least as good as other people? Is there a superiority element to them? Is there a vanity element to them? Because again, an awful lot of what we think we want to achieve in life, or what we set out to do, doesn't actually give us any joy, because we have the wrong motivator behind us. So look at what it is that you want to achieve and ask yourself, does this make me a better person for others? Does this help me create a better sense of mental and emotional I suppose peace of mind? And does it benefit my health overall? And if we can ask ourselves that, if we can really scrutinize what it is that we want to do and find out whether or not it serves us and it's reflective of the person who we want to be, then we're more likely to put things in place that will make us feel fulfilled, that will make us feel like, I suppose, a more humanitarian, kind and giving person that has something to contribute to the world around them. So just a few things there on behaviour change that you might want to consider. Again, coaching is something that I also do. So if you're looking to change behaviours, or again, if you're you're looking to change the way in which you engage with the world, or you're struggling in any way with your mental health or emotional health, please do get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamentals.ie.